Hi everybody, this is Maureen Wong from yournextstamp.com. Today we're going to be making this card, Birthday Wishes, from my friend the Dinosaur, and let's get started. Okay, today we're going to be using two Your Next stamp sets. This one is called Jessica with Cupcakes, and the sentiment and balloons are from this set. And then this one is called Dynamite, and we're using this dinosaur up here and his coordinating die. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp this with my MISTI, and of course you don't have to use a MISTI. I just personally like using the MISTI. I think it helps my stamping a lot, so I use it. But you definitely don't have to. So I'm going to stamp this in Memento. And I'm going to be over-stamping it again at the end, so don't worry if my line isn't very clean and clear right now. I'm going to be coloring this, and then I'm going to over-stamp it with VersaFine. So I'm just going to be coloring this with colored pencils, and that's going to take a while. I don't know if you guys want to watch me color because I'm no coloring expert, so I'm just going to cut this part out of the video. Okay, I finished coloring my image, and in case you're wondering, I just used Spectrum Noir colored pencils for this, and now I'm ready to overstamp him with my VersaFine ink. So of course I haven't moved my image from the MISTI cover, and I'm going to put him down in that corner wedged in to make sure he's placed exactly the same as he was when I first stamped him. Then I'm going to go ahead and close the cover and overstamp him, and you can see what a great result that is. That is just beautiful how nicely that black VersaFine ink stamps. Okay, I'm gonna let him dry for a little while before I cut him out. And actually what I want to do is clean off my stamp. Okay, so for our next step, we're going to position the balloons. I have a 4" by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock here, and I'm going to position the dinosaur where I think he's going to go. And then here is the knot of the balloons. I'm going to actually hold him down with the magnet, and I'm going to position the knot of the balloons right over his hand because that's where I want it to go. And then I'm going to pick up the balloons with my MISTI. And that's probably going to move my cardstock, so I'll move it back into place and then stamp it. And I'm using my Memento ink again, and I don't care if I get a nice impression or not. I just need enough of an impression to color those balloons. So let's see how this turns out. And that is fun. And I didn't even stamp all the strings because I'm going to overstamp that, just like with the dinosaur, after I do my coloring. Okay, here I finished coloring my balloons the best that I could. I tried to make them look like they're overlapping and such, but like I said, I'm not a coloring expert, but this is all done again with Spectrum Noir colored pencils, and I'm going to now overstamp with my VersaFine to get that really great solid dark black line. So I'm inking up my stamp again, which hasn't moved from my MISTI. And I'm going to stamp that down on my balloons. And there we go, the perfect image. So what we can do now is set this aside to dry. And now going back to my dinosaur, I'm going to take his matching die and line it up. Okay, that looks good, so I'm going to take a piece of blue painter's tape and tape him down. And I will actually put another piece of tape, because this is kind of a big die, I don't want it to shift. So I'm going to go cut him out. And there he is. So you can see when I cut out the balloon strings, he's going to be holding in his hand right there. And then what we're going to do is die cut a hill for him to stand on. Okay, in this section I'm going to be cutting out the bottom of the balloon strings, and I went out of frame quite a lot and it takes me a while to do it, so I'm speeding this up and doing a voiceover instead. Basically I just said to cut around the knot and the strings, leaving a small white border, and that's going to match to our dinosaur die cut, which also has a small white border around it. And that's all. And then what we're going to do is take the dinosaur, and you can see now how his arm is going to go underneath, and he's going to be holding the balloon strings. And you can't see it at all, so it kind of loses its effect. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I am going to cut off the strings underneath the knot, and I am just going to have this end in a knot, and then his arm will be under the knot. Yeah, that looks better. And you can't even tell there was a whole bunch of strings behind him because his body is covering all that big hole up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere my grass. I cut a couple of layers of grass. Let me see which one I want. That one looks good. I actually just cut a rectangle, and I used one of the landscape dies from the spring summer scene die set, and then I actually have two pieces that I can use. And what I'm gonna do is just put some adhesive on this side because I know I want that stuck down in the corner. And then I'm gonna put this behind here, see if that'll fit, and it does. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of adhesive on the back of this. You can, I don't know if you can see that, but I got a little smudge of blue ink. I was stamping something in blue a little earlier, and I guess I had a little bit of ink residue on my hands. So I'm gonna cover that up by sticking this other grassy hill piece underneath it. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick down the rest of this piece on top of that. And then I'll just go in and cut off the excess. And now my dinosaur has something to stand on, and I covered up that little ink spot. And then I'm just going to double check him. I'm going to put adhesive on my dinosaur and adhere him so his hand is right under that little knot. And there we go. I've gotten my MISTI back out because now I'm going to stamp the sentiment. As I said before, this is from Jessica with Cupcakes, and it says birthday greetings. And I want to place it, actually let me get my positioning grid. I want to place this right here by the dinosaur so that the little flourish goes over his tail. And that looks good. I'm going to make sure he's firmly in the corner, and then I'm going to ink up my sentiment with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Make sure I get the whole thing, and close my MISTI and press. And there is my birthday greetings. Let me wait. Oh no. Okay, and for a card base, I just have another piece of white cardstock that's an A2 size card base, and I'm just going to adhere it to that. And there we go. Here's our finished card. Birthday wishes from my friend the Dinosaur. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, and we hope to see you over at yournextstamp.com. Thanks very much for watching.